What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my third video tutorial on CSS. Okay, we've talked about the introduction and we've looked into the syntax. So today we are going to be touching different properties and value. Okay, let's get started. Today we're going to be looking at color as a property in which we're going to be laying focus on. We're going to be touching color, background, border, margin, and padding for today. So let's get started. So according to the color, we have color as our normal color. We have HTML support 140 standard color names, but let's just get into the practical aspects. So and we have this this is an okay, I forgot to tell you about, we have three different ways in introducing our style into our web page. We have an inline style, we have external style, we have internal style, and these three different styles do the same thing, but they kind of have upper hand from each other. I don't think you understand me, but this is a typical example of inline style. So inline style can be overridden or readed by either the external style or the internal style, because we are specific to the H1. Like let me do the try it yourself so you can see for yourself. Okay, we'd notice we are now, it's more like we are particular to the content we want to really style. So by using this my style attributes, I think we've talked about attributes. No, I'm going to be making an HTML videos for beginners, and I'm going to be explaining for those of you that doesn't have understanding of what attribute means. And in case you don't understand what this means, this is an element. It's called a command. So we are talking about H1, which is the biggest heading that I know of in HTML, and so we are giving it some extra definition. So we're giving it extra definition using attribute style, which is equals background color dark blue and Dodger blue. So okay, let's just move into colors, like using what we are familiar with. Am I on CSS? Yes, I am. We have RGBs, so let's just stick to one. Okay, let's just stick to one. I think we've been using an inline style within our head tag. So oh my goodness, my backslash is not working. So within here we have our style tag, because we're still dealing with internal style. So now let's try to manipulate colors. So in order for us to see the difference between the inline style, external and internal, so let's try changing the color for paragraph, and let's see if it will take effect. Color as red. So let's run. Yeah, it did take effect because color is not stated at the inline style. So let's, just for us to know, let me say blue, and let's see the effects. So the inline style override the external and internal style. So it's just like precedence. They all have higher privilege. Like it's just more like admin. We have pre-admin, we have admin with three different rights, we have admin that can do all the rights. So it's just more like that. Inline style has the highest precedence when talking about web design. So that's that for that. So I think that's that for that. What if we want to specify a particular section in our paragraph, want to give it a particular style? So let's do that by saying let's say span. We mostly use span because span is an inline element. We're going to be talking about what inline element means in our future tutorial. So we want to give this a color of red, so I can target the P and the paragraph. So I'm talking about, okay, what do I want to target? I'm targeting the span inside the paragraph, so I want to give it a color of green, and that is that. What if I want to make it bolder? I can then say front family, front width, bold. Boom. Let me give it some other, let me just give it a font family just for it to look different. Let me see, Aria, I think it's Aria by wow. So I can explicitly target, you know, other elements within my parent element. So I would regard this as a parent element that has a child of span. So let's look at other, I think that's that for this. We're going to be looking at RGBs, you know, HSL. We're going to be looking at that in a future tutorial. We've talked about background. Okay, let's look at border. Okay, with border is a property that works like more like outside an element, allows you to specify style, width, color on an element border. So let's just work with border for the meantime. So let's give, we're working with red. The syntax for border is border border. So we need to, the first attribute is to, the first value should be the thickness, the width, let me say 2 pixels, and the type of effect. Do we want it to be solid? Do we want it to be thin? Do we want it to be broken? So let me just, for now, let's stick with solid, and let's give it a background, let's give it a color of like red. Okay, so we'll notice the border around this text. This is the border, we've given it a red, and let's reduce this and see the effect. 1. So the 1 is just more like its thickness, so let's say 10. Boom. So let's see other style we can give it apart from solid. We can give it dashed. Is it dashed? Yeah, we can give it dashed, which look pretty awesome. We can give it dotted. Yeah, we can give it groove, Abby. Is it groove? Grooving? No. Let's see. Yeah. Under the border style, we have dotted, we have dashed, solid, we have double, groove. My mistake, groove. So let's just give that groove. Wow. So we can just work with more of them, but mostly just to make our work neater or fine, we can specify the particular portion in which we want to give a border. Let's just see border left. So we are targeting just the left. We want a 5 pixels solid bread. Boom. There's something I do want to, okay, let me just, no, we're going to be working, I wanted to add padding, margin, but just for our style, let me look Let me see. Okay, let's move to margin. So what is margin? Margin basically is the space around our elements. So we're talking about the space around these elements, like from the left, the top, the bottom, the right. So let's try using margin. Let's see the result of what we get. So we say margin 2 pixels. So it's giving it 2 pixels from the top, the left, the right, and the bottom. So now let's be specific. Let's say margin top. Let's give it 12 pixels. Did I get that right? Okay, now we've gotten that. So margin from the top, if we notice the element was around this side, so from the top we've given it a margin of 60 to move downward. So we can change this to margin left 60 pixels and we see the effect. We can change it to margin right. We also see the effect from the right. So there are shortcut for this margin. Instead of stating all this margin left, right, we can all state it within our margin. So the first value should be the top, margin top, which is 10 pixels. The other one should be from the right, margin right, let's say 5 pixels. The next one is from the bottom, let's say 10 pixels. The next one is left, let's now say 60 pixels, so as for us to see its effect. Boom. Now let's try changing the value for the right as 0 pixels, for the bottom too as 0 pixels. So just for you to know, there are always shortcuts for longer CSS properties. So let's work with padding. And when we're talking about padding, we're talking about the space within the space around the content from its container. I'm not making sense, am I? So let's try reading what padding means. Look at the element here. We are not talking about the space around it within the element. We're not talking about outside the element like the margin. You know, margin is outside, but padding is within. So we are talking about the space within. CSS padding properties are used to generate space around an element content. So we are not talking about the element itself, we're talking about the content. So let's see what it does. Let's give it a padding. It also has a shorter notation and longer notation. Let's give it 5 pixels just for us to see. Boom. Our work looks finer. So let's give it something like about 15 pixels. Now for us to just know what the padding does. So we have a space around our element from the top, from the left, from the bottom, and from the right. Now let's be specific. Margin padding top 15 pixels just for the top. Margin left just for the left, just to be specific. Margin right. We can also make a shortcut for that, like the margin. This is for the top, this is for the right 5 pixels, this is for the bottom 5 pixels, this is for the left 20 pixels. Now we have a perfect padding property. Let's move to height and width. Like we all know, height is like is the vertical, is it vertical, horizontal, vertical? Yeah, it's the vertical upright of an element. We know the width is the, you know, how wide it can be, you know. It's just the arbitral height and width. So we can now state here on our P element, we can give it a width of 500 pixels to make it smaller. Let's see 800 pixels. Oh, it makes sense. Let's give it a height of 100 pixels. It's too much. Yeah, just for us to know, we can specify our height and width. Let's move to the next. This box model. The box model just tells us more about our content, its margin, border, padding, and our content. It's a way of regulating all these together to make a perfect web page. So from our content, we say the content of the box, like this is our statement, this is our text that we're putting inside our elements. So the padding, we're talking about the padding, the space between within the element and the content. We talk about border that goes around the element itself, and we talk about margin as the outside area, the spacing, outside spacing area with outside the content. So I think this is where we should stop, and in the next tutorial we're going to be covering more and more, and I hope you enjoy, I hope you understand every concept I have laid down here in this video. If you do not, you can mail me, you can drop your comment, and I would be so glad to help you. Thank you very much.